What's up, guys? I'm Brad Robinson. I am the founder of the Anxiety Project. It's a site where I blog about my anxiety recovery, what I did to overcome anxiety, and all of that stuff to better your life in every way. Today I'm going to talk about myself. Since it being the very first video, I am super excited. I am a little bit nervous because I don't really talk in front of a camera often. Like, who does, really? But this is going to be great because I'm going to share my personal experience with anxiety and the steps you can take and the steps you need to take in order to just better your life and be more in the moment. And how do we get to a place where we are always focused internally and not externally? And how do we get to a place where we are anxious all the time about the future, we are upset about the past, and how do we get from that kind of a state of mind to just being naturally happy, outgoing, and friendly to other people, instead of just like always being internal with your feelings and these bodily zaps and sensations that you're constantly concerned about. Now, my past, see, when we are children, we are sponges. Now, we absorb all of this information. We absorb parents' beliefs, we absorb adults' beliefs, and we absorb other children's beliefs. We absorb all of that. So when we get older, we're like, do I have a mental illness? Because why am I so conscious about, like, do I have an illness? Like, you're always so internal, thinking something's wrong with you, you're sick, or you have a mental illness or whatever, and you have bad anxiety, and you always give yourself an identity of that when you're talking to other people, like, oh, I have really bad anxiety, and you kind of relate to other people about it and stuff like that. But we don't want to be in that place. We want to hang around people who are warriors. We want to hang around people who've overcome hardships and see the good in everything rather than the negative in everything. Because if we're focused on the negative in everything, we have a negative aura around us, and we don't want to walk around with a negative aura around us, because other people will just stay away from you naturally, because who wants to hang around with somebody with a negative aura, right? So going back to the childhood, I had anxiety when I was a kid, and I remember I was like around 10 years old, where I was watching Mission Impossible, and I just had a panic attack. I didn't know what was wrong with me. My parents were like, oh, put your head in between your legs and, it'll pass, and then continue watching the movie, right? And nothing was really explained to me, and I kind of had this anxious attitude throughout my childhood, where I didn't want to go to school in the morning because I was afraid of what other people think of me, and I was really shy, and my identity was that I'm a shy kid, so I just held that identity inside, and then I had health anxiety when I was a kid. Now, I thought this lump in my neck or something was something serious, and I would phone up my parents and stuff like that, wondering, am I okay? What's going to happen to me? All that kind of stuff. So health anxiety kind of grew into my 20s. Now, when I was 25, it got to a really bad point where I was thinking I had an illness, a disease, all that kind of stuff. I just thought I was just an unhealthy person, right? So it got to a really bad point where I broke down, and then I needed a change. And this is where my anxiety recovery came into play. Now, how did I start my anxiety recovery? Well, it all came down to hitting rock bottom and being angry. I was angry because I wasn't getting to a place in my life. I was 25, then 26. And then I'm like, I'm not getting to a place that I want to be, and everything's all wrong. Everything is not, what I'm doing in my life is wrong, because I'm feeling anxious all the time. I'm worried about the future constantly. Everything is not going the way I want it to go. Everything is not working out at all. Nothing's working out. Is everything working out for you? Probably not, if you're really watching this video, right? So you have to have a lot of drive and to want to change. And then the next part is educating yourself. And this is what all of my realizations, like the light bulb going off in my head, all of that came from the education part. Because a lot of the stuff that I didn't know I had, I realized, and then the light bulb went off, and then I started understanding more about myself from other mentors that have gone through anxiety disorders. So I would use them as my role model, and I would learn all about anxiety from them. So educate yourself, and then the recovery will take place. I had really bad anxiety, health anxiety, where I would Google a lot of my symptoms. Are you Googling your symptoms? Because I did. I thought I had crazy different illnesses that I never had, because I Googled it, and I convinced myself that I had these symptoms. I convinced myself I had this. And your brain really does convince yourself. You will get body zaps in different parts of your body, and then you would think that's an illness. You would get pains in your body, but that's because of stress. The stress and anxiety causes those pains. It causes you to really convince yourself that you are sick, and you are not sick. You can be amazed that our bodies are amazing vessels. Our bodies can take a lot. And if you have a health anxiety, you pretty much think that your body can't really take that much. Like, your body's weak. Your body, you're not healthy and stuff like that. And you kind of gain an image of yourself. And I gained an image of like being weak and low and too thin and being, not like that person. And I started to relate to other people. Not relate, but envy other people, I should say. I really envied people who are in a better place. How did they get there? And I'm here, and the negativity was always playing around me, right? So I really want to say to you guys that you are really struggling right now. You're really in a bad place. And I was in a bad place where I was really scared. I was at a low point. I didn't know what I wanted for my life. And it scared the hell out of me. It scared me to a point where I was just so confused about just everything. Everything I was confused about. But right now, after 1 year of recovery, pure commitment, I am anxiety free. And when I say I'm anxiety free, I am mentally in a good place where I can look at all the thoughts that come into my mind. I can reject the negative thoughts, and I can replace them with good thoughts. I can use my conscious mind to get rid of that negative talk, because I've gotten so good at it. I've gotten to a place where I am better at speaking to others and able to communicate better to other people, and I am able to concentrate on the little things more and not run around too much. Because when I was anxious, and I'm sure you guys can relate, you are in a hurry all the time. You're in a hurry to get things done. you're in a hurry, you're running around too much, you're doing things quickly. And I know my mom would always say, you're just doing things too quickly. You're doing things, you're running around too much. And I never knew what she meant by that, because I didn't really have the answers. I didn't know that I was an anxious person, that it would snowball into health anxiety. It would just snowball into like some depressive states, right? And depression, anxiety, it's all connected, because depression, you're thinking about the past. Anxiety, you're mostly thinking about the future. And either one, you're disconnected from the present moment. So how do we get to the present moment when we are so sensitized, we are so bewildered by these feelings and health anxiety, and we're just totally confused? We'll get angry and start a recovery program, okay? Now, how I recovered, I was just educating myself. So this is my first advice to all of you guys. Educate yourself. Read up on it. Watch YouTube videos of people who've gone through anxiety recovery, like myself. Read my blog at www.unpluganxiety.com. Educate yourself. Know everything you need to know about anxiety, why you're feeling this way, and because you're not alone. Most of society feels this way because we live in an anxious world. We have everything at our disposal. YouTube, crazy videos, and the news, and everything is so available that we go from one video to another, and then we get anxious and then we don't know why we get anxious. But it's the media that you're watching. It's the things you're watching on TV, on YouTube. It's the people you're hanging around. So I know this is a lot of information, but you have to understand that when you're dealing with health anxiety, there's a lot of things spiderwebbing out from your anxiety, because it's the friends you're hanging around that are causing you to be more anxious. It's the habits you're doing, where you're smoking too much, you're smoking cigarettes, or you're drinking too much, or you're eating too much candy, or you're eating too much junk food, or you're not exercising too much, you're not exercising at all even, or it could be that you're just watching too much videos, and you're just not really in the moment. You're not really giving back to your body. Are you really giving back to yourself right now, or are you too busy trying to distract your true feelings? Have you really sat down in a quiet place and taken in all of your feelings and emotions? There's a lot being stored deep in you. Now, to get back to the bodily sensations in regards to health anxiety, we feel pains here and there. We feel body zaps here and there, and that's because we have stored emotional issues deep within us that we haven't dealt with yet. You're distracting yourself too much. You're running around with too many habits, bad habits. You're staying up too late. You're not getting enough sleep. These are all things that are connected to your health anxiety and anxiety, right? So we have stored and unresolved emotional issues stored in us that we haven't dealt with yet. You need to deal with them. That's why you're overthinking. That's why you have too much negative thoughts. You're thinking about negative thoughts that you're reacting to too often. Now, how do we deal with stored, unresolved emotional issues that are causing us to be anxious? Well, we need to recognize our habits, our bad habits. A bad habit is negative thinking. A bad habit is the eating. Bad habit is too much YouTube, or staying out too late, or bad relationships. My ex-girlfriend, it was an unhealthy relationship where we fed our anxiety off of one another. And that's something I did unconsciously. I unconsciously had a bad relationship where I didn't really know that what was going on, really. I didn't really know that she was just overly anxious and that she was a toxic person to be around, and I was a toxic person to be around, and that everything was just sour. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have the understanding of that. And, I smoked weed too much. I was watching too much videos online. I was fapping too much. And if you don't know what fapping is, go Google it. I am also on a no-fap, which I'm on day 60, and I also did a previous no-fap of 100 days, so I reached 100 days. I'm on day 60 right now, and that has given me more control over my life. But all that no-fap stuff, I'm just going to leave it for another video. This one is just generally talking about anxiety, health anxiety, and I'm just generally talking about what it is, just giving you some info on it. Maybe you can recognize it in yourself. That's what I want to get out from this video. And I'm going to be making more videos where I'm going to dive deeper into little topics where I can go into things like health anxiety or like rewiring your brain via CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, where I used an elastic band to rewire my brain from negative thoughts to replacing them to good thoughts, or just using my conscious brain, just getting that activated more, because we don't really use our conscious brain when we are anxious, because we are just going around with the motions. If you're anxious, you're just reacting to everything. Everything is, you're paying attention to the negative things. You're more focused on the negative things, and you're not really focused on the positive things. Like, look at those green trees. Those are nice green trees. Or look at that nice dog. He's such a happy dog. I'm focused more now on the good rather than the bad. Something on the news says something, and then you react to that thing on the news. Somebody says something, in the background, like a disease, or somebody has a disease, or somebody was killed, or somebody was ill, and then you react to it. Like, I picked that up. I picked up that because I'm picking up negativity around me rather than the good. You're picking up too much negative energy. You got to start developing a more unsensitized being. And it's a long process. It took me a good 5 months to get myself desensitized. It took me that long, pure 5 months of commitment, of just changing my life around. It was absolute hell, but it was the best hell I've ever had, because it completely changed my life around. You got to stop watching that TV all the time. You got to pick up a book. It's hell, because when you pick up the book, you feel like you don't have a long attention span, right? When you're reading that book, it's hell trying to get yourself to sit there and focus for a long period of time. But you need to start rewiring yourself. You need to get to a better place in your life. And it takes guts, it takes courage, and you have to not be afraid of failure. You have to say, hey, I'm doing this to learn. It's a learning experience. If you fail, you're not a failure, but you learn from it. You got to start getting yourself into a more warrior-like state rather than a worrier-like state. You're a worrier right now, that's okay, because this is a start of something better. This is a start of your life, your new life. I made myself into a different person. You can do it too. I was in a deep hole, a hole where I didn't know where I was going, a hole that I have dug for many, many, many years. And to get out of a hole I've dug for many years to being a new person, I did it. I did it, so you can do it too. And that's where I want to leave this video. Rewatch the video. Take what I have said and write some stuff down. And watch it again and again. And do what you need to do. Head over to my website. Check out all of my blog posts. Read up on it. Print some of those blog posts out. Read it on the GO train. Read it on the train. Read it on the bus. Wherever you want to read it, read it. So that's where I will leave this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. It will be coming out, and yeah, take care, guys.